I can't have music and Zoom on at the same time. What the?
Music and Zoom at the same time.
We get shut down for that. Okay, I'm gonna go see if it's what. Okay. Let's hope I don't fall out of this chair.
I was wondering, it's folded here. I did. Takes all the fun out of it. Turn the Zoom off so we can turn on the music. I want music. I have music on the Zoom. Everybody sign in? So we're done here?
Yeah, I just put it. Sometimes I do.
We're supposed to be something now. I come in this room and the table starts all. Even. Even.
Yeah.
Deborah, girl.
What?
CDs coming out, so they're not all even, and they're not all spaced,
I know, stop.
and so.
I didn't do it.
It starts getting on. 4.
I didn't do it.
Mine is the tables are. I just won't. I'll be right back. Go get some lunch and come back in there. Say it again. It's on there. Look on there. KW.
Yeah.
What kind of honoring is just going on right here?
Maybe you get mean. I'm getting mean mugged by the cutest little girl in the world. She just don't know what to think of me. Imagine that.
I never.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm like.
That's what I coach here for play.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I hate it. So wild. Are you matching your outfits to it?
No.
Okay, well, I'm proud of you for that.
It's a struggle.
Just look at the little minimize button.
You don't want to know who's on there?
I don't care.
All right, whatever. Baby.
I can see that there's 3 participants.
Let's see if they're chatting.
Did everybody sign in? All signed in?
Yes.
Signed in, let's sign in.
Yes.
You 3 signed in?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at the ceiling anyways.
It's
Well, my design in. You might like that, if I like coloring.
You know, the town stuff, so.
We just send it out to the table.
So your tax bills, how many people stop to?
Yeah.
I was asking.
Start saying you guys get to get food. Yep. Food at 11:30, everybody shows up.
That's the key.
Once our bills back, some of the things. Sometimes I'll automate a message.
Sit there. Save it for you, Tom.
And I say, you really wasn't so good to me.
Yeah.
How's the family? Great. I gotta show you a video. My granddaughter, this is love. I give her my phone when you play music. She dances. And this came to, with that, my brother's in-laws. Well, my daughter was here to test. And
19 or something, job working in the phone room. There's some. I'm just going to Hanson.
wow.
Wow.
For some reason, when little kids do it.
Yeah, I
way
know.
funny. I'm an adult should like me. But dancing. Yeah,
According to their phone.
well, you know, it's gonna be 16.
No,
months
sit in the
a couple
back,
of weeks,
actually.
and,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She just started sleeping through the night. A month ago. So they were worn out. They now still sleep from 7:30 or 8 till 9 in the morning. Good night. We got a mixed bag.
I tried to hear.
Good morning.
How are we?
Good.
Good. We got a few more stragglers coming in.
Set our bottom off down somewhere.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I got cedar allergies.
So we'll go ahead and get started. Do we have any, oh.
Hi, Nessa. Hi.
We all know who Nessa is, right? Yeah, she's dragging today. Yay. Because I can't do two things at once. I can't talk and drive at the same time unless I'm in my car. And then I can. So do we have any bucket fills today? Anybody do anything awesome for somebody that you want to, call out and give them?
Look, the office staff, you guys do a great job, keep supportive, being friendly, happy. Thanks, always
Yeah.
provided for us here.
We
Amazing.
tried, we run a lean mean machine around here, that's for sure, so. Everybody, all of the staff, the one really cool thing that I can say is we are all on the same page. And it's pretty awesome, so I love that. I'm gonna call out Daphne. Yay, Daphne. Daphne, are you listening? We got a phone call last week from a potential capper team. And she scheduled them for me and put them on my schedule and everything, so, talk about having the team all on one page. That was pretty awesome, so, yeah, Daphne. She also does a really good job on all your compliance, and yes, I do have allergies going on, so if I sound funny, that's why. They're going on for about a week, so we'll be happy when the cedar trees get done a little bit.
Amen.
And I'll also call out Carolyn Boss, because Carolyn Boss does a really good job on, helping new agents and kind of getting them rolling and, working with them and all that good stuff.
Thanks.
So.
Wait, are you getting bucket fills?
You're gonna get called out.
No.
Anybody else got any bucket fills? Oh, Deanna. Deanna, sent a picture,
Take a picture.
the other day. In case you all didn't know, they had a little fire over at the Branson County office. So she kind of sent us a picture so that we could start going up the totem pole as to, okay, what's going on over at Branson West?
But that just sounds like our business.
So that was cool. Anybody else got any awesomeness that has gone on that you wanna? Somebody else, we're not calling now, I don't remember it's not.
Shout out. Jamie.
Shout out.
Check that out, Jamie, who I travel a lot and she's always here to.
What are you doing, Lonnie?
I'm here to Jamie.
Anybody else?
Let me tell you what the fire was, Brett.
Yeah.
If anybody replacing bulbs and fluorescent lights. We found out about morning. Bulbs are replaced. Cheap is what they call, you know, you can put LED bulbs.
Right.
There's a cheap Walmart LED bulb, he said, you don't see one do that bad, but he said they're notorious for causing problems. I mean, go buy a bulb,
Go by the sheet.
go buy the cheap,
You get what you pay.
you watch pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Anybody else got any bucket fills? Let's bucket fill Dave Andrews for providing lunch today. Thank you, Dave. We appreciate you. Okay. You guys ready? I think this is the next one. And you're all still on video. So everybody was showing. We're going? Thank you. Okay, everybody with me? To build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. That's the KW way. So that's what we want you guys to have. We want to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. We do realize that, real estate is a local business. And if it wasn't for you guys and you guys being agents and, working with all your clients and everything, we wouldn't have this brokerage. So it's really all about you guys. Oh, are you taking pictures?
What did I do?
No, I don't want my picture taken. It's bad enough they make me get up here and be on Zoom, and I try to stay in front of the camera. Do you guys ever notice that? I don't really go back there. I don't like the way I look. God, family, then business, in that order. Okay, so remember that. We all have to, do the God thing, and then our family comes first, and then the business. Okay, so remember, sometimes as real estate agents, we're go, 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 go. And we don't pay attention to the family, so we need to make sure that we are paying attention to the family and doing the family thing too. And anybody got any of these that stick out to you? Win-win, integrity, customers, commitment, communication, creativity. One of these days we'll do the dance. There's a dance that goes with us.
I don't wanna do the dance, but
Oh,
I
come
do-
on.
I do think right now we have to be so communicative to our sellers. Like even more, and I don't know exactly, but I feel it, because I think when you look at the news, and when you look at your own reports in the MLS, whether it's land or property or houses, it's like you have to be in constant communication, because other people are talking to them, whether it's the news or people. So I think communication, we have to go even more.
Yeah, their brother Bob, who has never sold real estate, but knows everything about real estate.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy. And
That
the
guy.
neighbor. Yeah, the neighbor, of course.
What'd you call him? What, neighbor Bob? No.
Brother Bob.
Brother Bob.
Brother Bob.
Use that.
I cleaned it up before it came
Yeah.
out of my mouth.
I do cousin it, and I'm gonna do brother Bob. That's good. Communication.
Yeah, so if you do have listings, I do suggest that you stay in communication with your sellers at least on a weekly basis. Most people like to do Mondays. So Monday morning, you want to do some kind of email, call, something that goes to them to say, hey, this is what's been going on. Hopefully I don't get started here on coffee. So one of the biggest things that comes back on various different surveys and studies that they've done is that if you're the second agent in and you ask, what did your previous agent not do? And well, they put a sign on the yard, I never heard from them again. Okay, so even if you don't have anything going on, you still need to contact them, even if you didn't have any showings. There are things that you are doing for them. You set up an MLS search, you reached out to people that might have inquired about it. You might have reverse prospecting set up. You did marketing, you did a Facebook marketing page. You were doing something, and a lot of agents forget to reiterate that to their sellers as to what they're doing. Okay, so keep that in mind. Even though you may not have had any showings, you're still working on your listings. You're still marketing them. You're still doing things, just like on the buy side. We're constantly looking for different properties for our clients and stuff. So you need to keep them updated on what you got going on and touch base with them at least. Does that make sense? Anything else? Teamwork. I think we all have to work as a team. And that includes other agents outside of the office. So we have to be in communication with them. We have to work with them. The ultimate goal is to get to the closing table and collect a commission check. So that is our ultimate goal. So staying in contact with them and communicating with them to let them know what's going on. Don't wait till the last minute to call up the seller's agent and say, oh, our financing, we gotta change financing companies and stuff like that. So communicate back and forth with the other agent. Keep them apprised of what's going on, either with your seller or with your buyer. Okay. And the market's shifting. Have you guys felt it? I mean,
Sellers, more sellers.
it's, to me, it's becoming more of a seller's or a buyer's market now. We were a seller's market. Are you guys not seeing that? Are you feeling it? So the buyers have a little bit more leverage than they used to have. Prices feel like they're kind of stabilizing out. I'm not gonna say they're falling, but they're stabilizing out. You don't have the craziness of price increases going on.
Seeing more seller concessions.
More seller concessions?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are seeing that. So I will say, when you guys get in listing appointments, that is one of those things that you do want to discuss with your seller. Is the possibility of seller's concessions, especially if you're doing FHA, USDA, or VA. Okay, those loans, 95% of the time, they're gonna ask for seller's concessions. Alright, so,
Those allow 6% seller concession for conventional, will allow 3% seller. So you know.
yeah, and you do see them on conventional too. So, and of course, cash is king, we love cash.
Yeah.
Which we do a lot of that.
What you said? What did you say?
He said the same seller's concessions on conventional loans also.
Thanks. And you can also, I mean, just because you've got a list price of $250, doesn't mean you can offer $255 at $5,000 seller concession. You can't go over sale price, seller concession. If they won't budge. Still get your buyers some money.
Yeah.
It's important, I mean, it makes a difference between doing a deal and not doing a deal.
Now, on the flip side of that, the house does have to appraise.
Yeah.
For the amount of the contract.
Concessions can only be used for prepaid, loading costs, rate buy downs, not down payments.
Not down payment. So, and I will reiterate that usually on a cash deal, you're not gonna ask for seller's concessions. Because there aren't any prepaids and there aren't any, lender fees. Okay, so, I've been getting a few phone calls from people that have cash deals going on that, you know, can I ask for seller's concessions? Yes. But it's not gonna be what you think it's gonna be. Okay, so it's not gonna be $6,000 or $4,500 or any of that. Okay, does that make sense? And your commission does not roll up in that. Okay. Dave, did you want to take a couple of minutes and tell us anything about what's going on in the lender
I
world?
just did.
Take a couple minutes.
We're seeing we're seeing some more down payment assistance programs coming about. Okay, I just signed up with a lender that has 3 different down payment assistance programs. I've always been a little bit leery of down payment assistance programs, grants, stuff that, and that's only due to the fact that if in 6 months you're able to refinance that loan, you have a second. But where are you gonna come up with the money to take care of that? Okay, you can't, you take yourself out of refinance all, and we're in that mode right now. We hope it gets that, okay. But I do have a lender that's 3 different programs. One of them is totally forgivable at the table. You sign, it's forgiven then, okay. I would not have that situation.
So you don't have the owner occupied, you gotta live in it for a certain amount of time.
So, those would be considered grants. Okay. Some of the grants you have to live there 10 years and it's forgiven, okay. This is forgivable at closing time. Now rates going to, it's going to affect your rate, but, you have enough money, you have enough money. You won't buy. So it's, and generally they're tacked on to FHA, okay, 3.5% of whatever you can apply to. Is generally what was second or grant is going to be, so $8, $9, $10,000. But just be aware of that if you're dealing with any lender that offers those programs, make sure to ask them.
is this, so can I subordinate this if I get into a situation where I can refinance? Is it subordinate? Do I have to pay it off? And 90% of the time, they're gonna say, no, it'll have to be paid off if you have the ability to refinance. That's one where you just wanna be careful. We do have program that conventional program doesn't have to be FHA. That will allow 1%, the lender will kick in 2% of the 3% down payment. It's predicated on 3% program. The lender will contribute 2%. No strings attached, they'll contribute to. So you're coming to 1% that. So there's starting to be some more of that stuff out there that's doable. Sometimes it's not doable, but now they're getting worse. They're doable.
What's the best rate you've seen in the last couple of weeks?
What's that?
What's the best rate you're seeing in the last couple of weeks?
FHA is the best rate out there right now, probably 6.25, roughly. Conventional 6.75, 6.5, maybe if you buy it down a little bit. We're still in that mode, right? Mid sixes. It'll go down one day a little bit, then it'll pop right back up. It's just not. It's nothing's going to be drastic this year, is what they say. You're gonna have little peaks and valleys, and just gotta watch it. If you got somebody in the system and they're unlocked, you just gotta watch them all day. Try to take advantage. Try to have a crystal ball, guess, whatever they feel good. So, anyway, thank you. Trump doesn't do something stupid, you know, that maybe he's stable.
Okay, so, Deb, do you have anything going on that everybody needs to know about?
The end of this month, the new construction contracts will be coming out and be able to be used. I'm trying to get early access so I can look at them and see what they look like, but they will be for new construction. We will no longer use our residential sale contract for new construction. Because we've only been working on this for years. They're coming out at the end of the month. I have a little bit of a concern with buyers agencies. Make sure you're getting those signed before you walk them through that door. I'm hearing stories. People are telling me that they're looking at properties and not having to sign buyers agencies. If you get caught, you will lose your license. That is a big no-no right now. So make sure you're getting that agency signed all the time. I've been hearing more and more likely that agents are not getting that done. And you all know about the non-representation agreement, correct? If it's your listing, your personal listing, you don't have to have a buyer's agency, but you do have to have them sign a non-representation agreement. And they stating that they know they're not being represented and that you are representing the seller. And I'm going to totally work on behalf of the seller. So either one of those, gotta do that before you open that door.
Is it a one-time showing?
And yeah, your buyer's agency, you can make it out for a specific address.
Yeah.
You can make it out for a specific day at an address. It doesn't have to be for months. It can just be for that place. But I don't know if agents are having a hard time or they haven't got their delivery down as to how you're talking to buyers about that agency. If not, there's lots of scripts for it. Monica is wonderful at scripts. I'm sure she'll be happy to help you. She likes to role play too.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah. So that's really the only thing I've been concerned about.
Any questions on any of that? Buyers agency agreements, non-represented buyers? No? Okay. I know nobody in this office is doing any of that.
No, I
You
haven't
all
heard
are
about
getting
any
your-
specific agent in this office. But I am hearing other agents tell some of our agents, hey, you guys are just following the rules too close. We don't do that. Well, if you hear that, I want a name, because if we're gonna all play in the sandbox, we all need the same rules.
Don't be afraid to call her.
Please.
There's no, yeah, Deb.
Okay, March birthdays. The 3rd was June Crumpet, the 6th Scott Corner, Dave Elston, Seth Britton, Ramona's birthday was yesterday, in case you guys didn't catch that. Ann Carrico, Kimberly Kariba, the 17th is Nikki's on St. Patty's Day. Ksenia Maria Ashley Raymond has a birthday coming up. Brad McKissick and Krisha Gerhart. And then we have anniversaries. Jana Robinson, 12 years, Nelda Lice has been here 9 years. Corey Bass, 7, Rod McGee, 6, Lisa McGee, 6, Ariel Walton, 5 years. You guys know she's pregnant? Did you all catch that?
What?
If you're friends with her on Facebook,
Don't have the
congratulations.
baby, yeah.
She's having a baby. She wants to know if she's doing some kind of mother, wives tale test on trying to see if it was a boy or a girl on Facebook. So congratulate her if you see that. Scott Corner, 3 years. Caitlin has been here a year. Jadell's been here a year. And Lynn Wagner's been here a year. And I guess you're not showing up because you were here and then you left and then you came back. Maybe. New people, we've got Ashley, Michael Prince, and Noah. They all joined us last night. So we're gonna send welcome aboard.
That was a good name, by the way.
I don't, am I supposed to stand?
Capper Sussman, Preston Robertson, and Bill and Linda Blitch. Cap Sussman, congratulations. They got 100%. They got 100% until January. Next year. Isn't that awesome?
It's your fiscal year, isn't it? It doesn't start January 1st, does it?
They're cap made this January.
Oh,
Yeah, so we can't manage people.
Right.
So everybody's, yours is September.
right.
Yeah, and yours is September. Yeah, and I can kind of go through, it it's October. Oh, you roll over here like next month, I think.
No, it's June. It's
June.
June 1st, yeah.
Okay.
I still got a little bit.
A
A little bit. And I gotta
And
do
then
it again.
Deborah's over in July 3rd, so we're holding all her contracts until then. So,
She was like, when they were close after the lot.
so any closing she has June 30th will not be processed until the 5th of July. Kind of honoring that way. Tiffany McGriff had her first closing with KW. So. And Market Center numbers. Now this is compared to, February of last year. So February of last year, we were still kind of rocking it a little bit. August is when we saw the dip in the market, and now we're starting to come back up. So closed units, 4 points, we were up actually 4.7. Month over month, we're up 4% year to date. Closed volume is down 8.1%. So the prices are starting to stabilize and get a little bit more reasonable. Listings taken, we were down 33%. I need you all go get listings. Okay. He who controls the listings controls the market. So you're not gonna get those phone calls on those buyer leads if you don't have signs in the yard. So go get some signs in the yard.
This is last month.
It's for February. Yeah. Listings taken volume down 13.1%, down 2.4% year to date. Listings sold, those are listings that we sold within our office. So Carolyn Boss had the listing and Judell sold it.
I'll take
So
that.
that was within our office. So we were down 26.8%. Month over month, we're down 8.8% year to date. Listings sold volume down 8.4% month over month. We're up 2.7% year to date. Contracts written. We are up 16.1%. Y'all are writing contracts. Okay. And we were up 6.3% year to date. Contracts written volume, we are up 53.8%. Month over month, we're up 24.9% year to date. So that tells me we're writing volume, but we're not writing a lot of units. Okay. We are writing units, but we're not writing as many units. And gross commission income,
12.5,
how much?
12.5.
We're up 12.5% month over month and up 3.7% year to date. So y'all are making more money. That's what that tells me. Okay, gross commission income is your money. That's the commissions. So you guys are making more money, so that's an awesome thing. And what's new in the market center? Tomorrow we have a brunch and learn, not a lunch and learn, a brunch and learn with a co-chef. The 14th, I have Ignite training. That'll be on buyers. Then we have another lunch and learn on the 18th, another lunch and learn on the 19th. Lots of lunch. You guys are gonna, you know,
A lot of lunch.
we're gonna have a lot of lunch. We'll start walking the training rooms back and forth to get our steps in. Ignite training on the 19th, which will be about sellers. Then we have the mastermind Zooms with the region. Ignite training on the 21st, Ignite training on the 23rd, and I can't see the bottom line.
TLBR general membership meeting at noon on the 27th.
Oh, and then we have a TLBOR meeting on the 27th.
I'm in the red.
And if you have a particular interest in the Corps of Engineers, there's a meeting tomorrow at, time is it, 11.
Are they feeding you?
I think so, but it's at Point Royale.
Right.
Instead of the board office.
They,
You gotta reach out to Shane.
Yes, I reached out to Shay no more than 2 minutes ago to get your resolutions in.
What's the meeting about?
Corps of
Board
Engineers,
of Engineers, the changes.
which is really good to know the do's and don'ts. When we sell lake property, anything that joins up to the Corps. So you do want to know you want to know the do's and don'ts of that. Like one of the don'ts, no, you can't go cut down all the trees behind the property. Yes, you can cut down anything that is 3 inches around. And it has to be a certain height above the land. And you can only go out 200 yards from the back of the property. So if the property is 400 yards, you can only go 200 yards. You can't do the other 200. You can't plant anything unless it's native.
I think the tree rule is 2 inches unless it's a cedar.
There's that. There.
A cedar tree.
Cut down cedar trees? I want somebody to verify that tomorrow.
take them all.
And how wide can it be?
Don't forget the awards luncheon.
Yeah, awards luncheon next week. 11:30.
God has spoken.
Make sure you sign up. I need count, please. Thank you.
Oh, it's on one of these pages.
Okay.
And yes, we do have the KWTL Awards luncheon next week. That will be over at Point Royale. We're in the process of ordering food, so please let us know so we can get a head count on that. And I know it's spring break. I understand. But if you can come, please come. I got people shaking their head no at me right now. So We had no control over the date this year. Yes, we tried to do it sooner in the month, but there were scheduling conflicts. And this was the first available time in March for us to do it. Mega Agent Camp is in, San Antonio, Texas this year. It's not in Austin. And it will be August 11th through the 14th. It is a great training class for agents. If you have ever been to family reunion, the really cool thing about Mega Agent is it's more focused on agent stuff. So Gary doesn't get up there and do his little speeches and stuff like that. So there's more breakouts, more panels, and more stuff for you guys to absorb. So if you get a chance to do that, and it is in San Antonio this year, which is a switch up for them. It's usually in Austin. And here's your awards luncheon thing. And have you all noticed the new monitors that we have?
It's awesome.
Nessa is doing that. She is going in every week so that you guys know what's going on in the office for the week and the month. I really like it because I'm really bad about remembering birthdays. And so I can walk in and go, oh, today's someone's birthday, and I remember to tell you. Otherwise, I don't go till I get home and get on Facebook. So I don't get on Facebook during the day when I'm at work and everything. That's my downtime when I get home. So if you have anything that you want to post on the screens, whether it be an open house, listings that you've got coming up, anything like that, any activity, we ask that you get it to Nessa by Wednesday so that she can get it up. And we roll the new one every Monday morning. Okay? And we have been known to make changes during the week.
Will
Also,
you do that for broker open houses or just regular open houses?
you can do broker, you can do open, you can do whatever you want, new listing that you have coming up. Something like that. Okay, so just get with her. She will help you do a flyer if you don't already have one. So you can do that. So we think that that's the ALC brought that to us as something to put up because not everybody, goes on Facebook, reads their emails, checks their text messages, that kind of stuff. So we thought we would come up with another way to communicate with you, and I thought it was a great idea. So
It looks really good in the hallway. And the agents coming in and everything.
it's pretty cool. Do not call. Check the do not call list before. Is our guy here? I may be right. I took a few slides out because I was gonna give him more time. So do you check the do not call list? Do we have a place to go check the do not call list, Deb?
We have,
Yes. Okay. Do you know what the site is?
Jan has some.
It's the same one that we've always had? Okay, I've sent it out multiple times, but I can send it again.
Does the board want to tell you if they're on another?
It's just for what?
Does board really tell you if they're on a do not call?
Probably not.
It's just the Missouri one though. If you're calling Arkansas or anywhere else, it's not on there unless I've not found it.
The national, we have a national group always.
I've asked that question several times. If you have the national do not call access, let me know. Cause the one I have pulled up now is just Missouri number. Like if I type it in Arkansas, it'll tell me I'm okay to call it. Cause it's not ready.
If you Google national do not call list, it'll pull up the link. That's how I found it.
Well, what I saw, yeah, but I think you're wrong. You have to subscribe to it. It's like.
I have to pull it up.
Yeah, let me know, please.
I don't cold call, so I don't.
Here's what I'll say, call your sphere of influence and call the people you know. They're not gonna be upset with you when you call them. And you don't necessarily have to say you're calling about real estate. There's the birthday girl. I will tell you that there's a lot of times that I call people just to go, hey, what's going on? And then the conversation will evolve into real estate. And then how it works. It's what I used to do. Okay, so we do have a guy.
Next.
Is he here? Okay.
He's coming.
We have Greg. He's come in to talk to us about 1031 exchanges. With all the investors and people that we have down here, we do see a lot of 1031 exchanges, so we want to make sure that everybody kind of knows what's going on and the ins and outs of it. The 1031 exchange. Welcome, Greg. How are you?
You know a guy, I know a guy.
You what?
You know a guy, I know a guy.
I know.
I'm the guy.
Hey,
Rick
while I'm,
says you're the man.
I'll do my best.
while I'm setting this up, Miss Danielle has something she wants to tell everybody real quick.
Okay. So I have joined the junior auxiliary, and what that is, it's just a women's based organization that gets together and helps children in the community. And so we are hosting
Are you gonna stand by
trivia
this?
game night.
or
It's been around for a while.
You walk around? Okay.
Um,
Well, I put the one piece of paper. I don't know what. Give me your handouts.
$100 for both age,
Okay.
$75 per person, and it's a great way to give back to the children in the community.
I want to see if this
Some things
works.
that we do are, traveling libraries for kiddos, trauma teddy bears and stuff of that nature that go out. They do the Christmas, gift exchange and everything like that, so it's a great way, to come show up for the community, and show up for the little kids. I do have, if you can't make it, I do have these $20 raffle tickets. They get you in for 3 different raffles. One is a $500.
Of course.
raffle, The other one is a $500 gift free, and the other one is a $700 value late package. And these are $20. It's just another way to give back. If you guys can't do that, then we always accept donations of anything that event that kiddos would love, but the teddy bears, anything for the trivia night as far as baskets or things that you would.
Oh, yes, Mark.
So it's be a great way to, get into the community if you can, so you can dig into your pockets and help out, that'd be fantastic, and I'll just see you around if you guys need to grab off anything or anything of that nature.
Stay in the front, kind of. The speak up there, everyone will be able to hear you.
Oh, they're on Zoom too.
Yep.
Perfect.
It's
Even
gonna
better.
be recorded.
Nice.
Some other people.
All right. Well, good afternoon.
Hello.
I was introduced by the other room. My name is Greg Shelley. And a couple quick announcements. I want to thank Ricky and her team for kind of putting this together. It's kind of funny how, I'm from St. Louis, by the way. It's funny how when you're in the industry, you have this collaboration with other professionals, industry professionals. So the gentleman, Zon Michael, you met Zon Michael, the lender. He reached out to his network to ask if they knew anybody that is kind of more specific in 1031 exchanges, because he wants to bring some more value to some of his realty partners. Well, that particular person that referred Zon Michael to me, I'm in a mastermind. I do a weekly mastermind. So long story short, here I am. So it's neat how when you're in the community, we call them shoulder partners, shoulder industry partners. How you manifest a collaboration with other professionals and put it together. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. If you're on, I guess, I like to walk around. So hopefully the Zoom people at least can hear me. Did everybody get one of these? I'm gonna reference these a little bit, and I'm gonna show you by the end of the 30 or so minutes, show you the power of things like this. There's not Michael. I was telling the group how the collaboration aspect works with shoulder industry partners, how you reached out to your group. Then Brian introduced us, and then to Ricky, and then here we are. So yeah, everybody knows on Michael.
Not yet, thanks, Sam. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. 60. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna spend the next 30 minutes or so talking about a concept where I find that basically in the real estate professional world, you kind of fall in 3 different categories.
either you've done a 1031 exchange, either for yourself, which is awesome, if you're, invested in real estate and building a real estate portfolio. You've been involved in a 1031 exchange with a client. You're also either that, or you've heard about this concept called 1031 exchange. Whether it's somebody else in the office, whether you attended a training class, whether you attended CE class, which I teach CE class, in the St. Louis market as well, or no idea. This is new to you. Wherever you're at in that portion of the education part, I want to get you to the next level. As I was sitting out there, I was hearing some numbers and I was hearing some conversations about, the year over year numbers and the listings and the units. And my goal is to be a resource for you to go source more deals, close more deals, to have different conversations with clients and potential clients to generate more business. Sound fun? Fair? We good with that? More business? Anybody too busy? Anybody just too busy? Can't handle any more listing? All right, cool. All right. So what is this concept 1031 exchange? Here's some overviews. Another just quick disclaimer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a CPA. All right. We are going to talk about tax code. It's boring. It's not fun. But we are going to talk about some scenarios that might fall under the concept of tax, fall under the concept of law. Unless you're an attorney or unless you're a CPA, don't get in the weeds, right? We're not here to do that. We're here to do our job, which is to help people buy and sell real estate, help people talk about 1031 exchanges. So this is kind of an overview. All right, let's jump in. What is it? How many of you have been involved in a 1031 exchange ever? Nice. How many of you have been involved in the last year or 2 years? Cool. How many of you feel comfortable explaining what a 1031 exchange is to a client in 30 seconds? People in the front. What you got?
I'll say it's a tax deferral method.
Okay.
Where you can defer the capital gains on a current sale.
Okay.
By purchasing another property.
Another property. Awesome. Everybody hear that? Defer capital gain taxes when you sell a property. Awesome. Anybody else? How comfortable are you talking to your clients about this? Because here's what
My explanation is it's laundering their own money.
Laundering your own money. How about this? How about an interest-free loan from the government?
Yeah.
People look at it that way. That might be. So, yeah, I don't want to see your name. I don't see your a picture on a billboard. Right. This is my definition. When somebody asks me on a regular basis, this is my definition. I've accumulated some tax code language and I've also come up with some kind of objection kind of responses to some things in the 1031 space. This is what I will tell you if you ask me what a 1031 exchange is. It's an IRS approved program that allows an owner of real property to defer up to 100% of their capital gain tax on property held for business or an investment, as long as they exchange in the property held for business or for investment. Okay. So here's what I like about this answer. This is my answer. Okay, it can be your answer too, that's fine. This is my answer. Because let's start at the top, an IRS approved program. I still have recent conversations with clients that will flat out tell me, why would I thought the IRS was here to take my money. Right? I thought the IRS was here because I have to pay taxes. This is an IRS approved program that's been around since the 1920s. It's legit. Right? It's a legit program. It's an IRS approved program that allows owners. Here's what's cool about owners. Those of you that work with non-US citizens, anybody work with non-US citizens? They also can qualify for 1031. They own property in the United States they can still take advantage of section 1031. Real property. This is actually verbiage from the tax code. And here's why it's important on the real estate side. Notice it's not real estate. It's real property. And I'm gonna show you some examples that qualify by definition that are not your typical real estate type assets. Cool? All right, we're gonna talk about that in the class too. The other thing that's neat about this is that the goal is 100%, right? Up to 100%. That's the goal. I would say about a third of our clients that we work with do what they call a partial exchange. They'll say, hey, Greg, I want to take $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 and not include it in my 1031 exchange. My wife and I want to go on a vacation. We want to pay off some debt. We want to, buy a new car. And that's fine. It's called a partial exchange. But remember, the goal is 100% tax deferral. That's the goal. Property held for business or investment. So that's my definition. This is actually the code, which is in your pamphlet on the up inside left column. This is actually tax code version. Okay, so if anybody asks you, if you need a default definition, right here, inside left column. Hey, this is the 1031 exchange, right? Give them this little paragraph right here. There are some exceptions, 1031, right? If it was easy, everybody be doing it. There are some exceptions. The two biggest ones I want to highlight are what we call stock and trade, also known as dealer status. So an example of a dealer is a builder. Builders do not qualify for 1031 because they buy and sell what they call inventory or stock and trade. All right, I don't know if it's a big market here, it's a big market in St. Louis. A lot of clients we talk to are flippers, rehabbers. They're the buy and sell investors. They also do not qualify for 1031. It has to be a buy and hold concept. Okay. So again, if you're talking to somebody and they say, well, I'm a real estate investor. Well, what do? Well, I buy, fix and sell. Well, they probably won't qualify for 1031 because they're a buy, fix and sell. They qualify as what the IRS considers a dealer as opposed to an investor. Real estate investors can use 1031 to their advantage. Real estate dealers cannot. Okay. Let's see. All right. Your turn. Yes, ma'am.
So you're calling it a real estate investor, but you're calling it real property. So I guess I need the definition of real property.
So in your line of business, right, you work with real estate investors, right? And primarily people that buy and sell real estate, right? So real estate qualifies for section 1031. But by definition, by the tax code, it says real property.
It just expands that.
It just expands the definition beyond real estate.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Tomatoes mom. Yeah, it's the actual tax code. It says property. I'll show you some examples, and if it still doesn't resonate by then, just let me know. We'll get it. All right. All right. So your turn. How's the market? I heard talking about numbers and statistics. How we doing?
We're doing better.
Doing better. Anybody
The
else?
buyers are cautious. They're,
Buyers are cautious.
yes.
Do you all track the difference between primary residence sales and non-owner occupied sales? I know Branson has a big, condo vacation market community. Do y'all get into that kind of metric or not? Huh?
We can.
You can?
I don't think we do very much, but.
Okay.
We can break it down.
Okay. Here's the conversations that I have. And this could be conversations that you have, right? Look at it from three different buckets. You're on a listing presentation, let's say it's a rental. And you're going through your listing presentation, you usually find one or three things. You usually find somebody wants to hold on to it. You find somebody that wants to sell it. And then you find somebody that wants to 1031 exchange. So the people that want to hold, these are the ones that you have a conversation about. Well, we know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your market value is here. right? Some of the questions that I've heard and I've had are you comfortable in the next, what's your plans for the next 3 to 5, 10 years with this property? And are you comfortable with riding out the real estate through the next cycle? You think that's a loaded question? It's a loaded question because most of the time I get the response of, well, when is the next real estate cycle? We're at a peak, which I think for the most part we kind of are, depending on the metric. But when is the next peak? That's a good question. If I had a crystal ball, we wouldn't be having a conversation. I mean, I'd be doing something different. But we get that. So the hold concept is good unless you talk about maybe 3, 5, 10-year vision. Hey, we know the roof's gonna need replaced in 5 years. Hey, we know that we are in an area now that may not have the type of tenant that we originally wanted to have, or maybe there's some changes that are in the zoning, maybe there's some things that are happening, maybe the ordinances are changing. Is that something you want to deal with and hold on to this property and weather that storm? Right? That's the first one. That's bad for you because they don't sell. That's bad for me because they don't do a 1031 exchange. Everybody see that? All right. Second column, sell. Conversation, hey, you know what? I think we're gonna sell it. You sell their property, they decide they're just gonna pay the capital gain tax. Okay, that may be their best option. You know, we have clients say, you know what, I just need cash. I'll just pay my capital gain tax. Good for you, because there's a sale, right? Bad for me, because there's no 1031, but that's okay. I want everybody to be down at the bottom, right? That's my goal. Let's look at a way we can defer your capital gain tax. We can find something different that can get you closer to your real estate goals, investing goals, or a different kind of product that may be better suited for what's happening in your life, right? Life happens, things change. So these are just some ideas to maybe have conversations about. And if you can kind of navigate these 3 different things, that may be opening up, yes, because we need to find their why. Right? Everybody has a why. Why should we do this? Why should we consider a 1031 exchange? There's actually a handout that I'll show you if I can get to the internet. I'll show you some marketing materials that we have that you can customize that talk about things like this, right? These are some of the top reasons to consider a 1031 exchange. The first one is preservation of equity, the deferment side, right? The deferment side. Instead of paying the IRS your capital gain tax, you can defer that and reinvest it and scale your real estate portfolio faster. Leverage. Anybody here deal with farms? Anybody here sell farm ground? Farm ground? The word I like to use is land rich and bank poor. Right? So let's say somebody has a free and clear property. Let's say it's worth $1 million. They can exchange that $1 million property and they can leverage a $2 million property, $1 million down, $1 million in debt, maybe an income producing property. They can leverage their equity when they do a 1031 exchange, right? Take on more debt, increase their debt. Diversification. Not only are we seeing clients diversify their asset classes, right? Getting out of the residential rental market, maybe exchanging into an apartment complex, or getting out of an apartment complex and maybe exchanging into some land, into an office building. We're also seeing diversification in the location, right? There are markets that are outperforming other markets. And people are getting out. They want to diversify location. Or, for example, working with a client, they want to buy something and exchange their portfolio closer to their grandkids. They want to have something closer. They want to actually, when they go, they want to go for not only a reason, they want to go for another reason. So we're seeing asset class diversification. We're seeing location diversification as well. Management relief. This is the big one. Anybody here manage real estate rentals? Anybody manage? Either your own or somebody else's? Okay. there will come a day, if you know somebody that owns a rental property portfolio, they'll come to you and say, you know what, I'm done. No more toilets, no more trash, no more tenants, no more termites, no more taxes. I don't want to deal with any of it. But I don't want to pay taxes. What do? Hey, let's sell your portfolio, 1031 exchange, into something a little more passive. Triple net leases, some ground lease, medical office building, something a little more manageable. Maybe a central location, something a little bit better. Last one, estate planning. If you do not have an estate planning plan to market to estate planning professionals, you should. The biggest transfer of wealth is going on right now in the history of our country.
I have a question,
Yes.
because I've always been told that your 1031 exchange has to be a like property.
Uh-huh.
So if I sell 2 houses that are long-term lease, you're saying I can then do land in an office building?
Yes,
It doesn't have to be more residential or
it's not.
night rental or anything like that?
Yeah, it does not. That's a great comment, because that's actually, I still get that often, like once or twice a week. Somebody says, well, I'm told that if I own farmland, I gotta exchange into farmland. No, you don't. You gotta exchange into property held for investment. That's the key. Yeah, diversification. It's huge.
And I can have an office space in an office building
Oh.
and it still qualifies? Because I'm renting other offices in the building.
Yeah. All right, estate planning. If you don't have one, I would encourage you to be the resource. Be the resource, right? Provide a concept like this. And you can work together with that. All right, let's talk about, so remember.
He's trying to shut his phone off.
Oh. All right, another common misconception about 1031s is that people say I need to buy something more for more than what I sold for. Well, that's the typical transaction, but that's not the rule. Okay? So when we look at an equation, how the exchange equation, we're gonna look at 2 things. This is a participation. And they didn't tell you we're gonna do math, did they? We're gonna do math. When you do a 1031 exchange, there's 2 requirements for full tax deferral. 1, you need to reinvest all of the net equity. And 2, you need to acquire property with the same or greater debt. That's the requirement. It doesn't say you have to buy something for more than what you sold for. Okay? That's typically what happens, but that's not the rule. Reinvest all that equity, acquire property the same or greater debt. So, and I've done this on a napkin. I call this my napkin equation. Value minus debt minus cost of sale gives us net equity. Right? All we're doing is plugging numbers. Value minus debt minus cost of sale is net equity. We're selling a property. And we're buying a property. So if we sell for 900, we have 300,000 in debt, we have a $60,000 cost of sale, our net equity is $540,000. Everybody see that? We exchange into a $1.2 million property. We go from 300,000 to $660,000. So we did what? We satisfied this requirement, acquire property with equal or greater debt. And we carried forward our $540,000 of net equity. Here's my question to you, based on the formula. If you had this scenario, 900,000, 300 in debt, 60,000 in cost of sale, net equity of $540,000. What's the minimum purchase price of the replacement property based on these numbers that you, as a real estate professional, should look for your client? $840,000. Everybody see that? So when you're looking for new property from a numbers perspective, again, net equity, equal or greater debt. If you sold something for 900,000 with 300,000 in debt, you got 60,000 in sale, net equity, it's your net equity plus your debt. You need to start searching for something or some things, more than one, we'll get into that in a minute. Of at least $840,000. So when you said search is up, that's what it looks like. That's the power, and that's the reason from a real estate professional. So, not shining on here, is it?
No, shine it on that screen.
Oh, okay. If you do it on 1031 exchange, your hair falls down. No, no.
Now, what if they sell and pay cash for the next one and have no debt? Does that matter?
Actually, great point. So you can offset the debt with cash. So they can bring cash to offset the debt. All right, those of you that have done 1031 exchanges. And I'm running a little bit behind on time, so I'm gonna kind of breeze through these. Let me go back. Couple of quick examples. What was 1031s? What was sold and what was bought? Examples. Sold a convenience store. What do they exchange into? Nice. Anybody else? Say that again?
Condo into a farm.
A condo, rental and condo into a farm. Nice. Anybody else? Yes.
Insurance, business into a short-term rental condo.
So the insurance, the actual building, the insurance, the real estate?
Well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, the real estate part, yeah. The real estate and business,
Right, both.
right. The business is not qualified, the real estate does.
Yeah.
Right, yep. All right, cool. All right, everything on this screen that you see could qualify. A little hint, everything on this screen that you see could qualify. Anything stand out? Anything different? One of these things is not like the others? Show my age. Oil wells, what else? What's up here? What's over here? Cell towers. What's the definition? Real property. It's cool. This is where I get excited. I don't think I can dance on that table. This is cool. This is cool. When I started learning about this is cool. Because a lot of people is just like, it's real estate, which I get. But when we talk about things like oil, gas, and mineral rights, could qualify. When we talk about easements, could qualify. Timber rights qualify. There's a concept out there called Delaware statutory trusts. They're sold as securities. It's what we call fractional ownership interest. Right? This is becoming a more popular alternative, or maybe a plan B for some people. Delaware statutory trust. Vacation homes. I want to touch on this for a minute because I'm in Branson, Missouri. Vacation homes qualify. Second homes do not. There's a difference. Okay, anybody know the difference? I heard, yes, expand on that.
But it's just what's gonna be used for.
Personal use, right? Vacation homes have what we call a revenue procedure that says, if you want to exchange into a vacation home, these are some things you have to do and report to make it look like a vacation home. One of the big ones is you have a cap on how much you can use it for personal use every year. I believe it's 14 days or 10% of the number of days that you rent it out, whichever is greater. Right? Vacation homes qualify, second homes do not. I have a lot of conversations with people at Lake the Ozarks. Hey, I've got this property, it's in my LLC. I want a 1031 exchange it. Great. What do you do there? Well, we go to the lake house every summer. Oh, neat. Okay, what else? Well, I'm learning the lake because I've got a good friend of mine that's a title company there. So it's in this subdivision. Oh, do they allow rentals? Short-term rentals or long-term rentals? No, doesn't qualify. What are you talking about? Like, doesn't qualify. Because it doesn't qualify for vacation home. So again, you have to kind of know and ask the question. What was the intent or what is the intent? And you can qualify that. I'm also available for calls when you have that. But I mean, Branson is a big vacation home destination, right? There's a lot of vacation homes here, condos or rentals, things like that, all right?
Until you just said that, I felt like it was a foregone conclusion that you could own a nightly rental property and never stay there, but it's an investment, so that would work in that scenario, correct?
It's a better story to tell if it's ever looked at.
I mean, if you never stay there,
If you never stay there,
it's income producing.
and it's income, yeah, if it's income producing, yes, that's a better tell, right? It's a better story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a better story. Okay. All right, another question we get. This question comes up a lot. If it hasn't come up already, that reticular, whatever, call it in your brain. You're gonna walk out of here and tomorrow, somebody's gonna ask you this question. Right? How long do I need to own a piece of property to qualify for 1031? Has anybody ever been asked that question? How long do I need to own a property to be eligible for 1031 exchange? If I asked you that question as a client, what would you tell me?
I would say, I got a guy.
All right, from this moment right now, 12:41 on a Wednesday, March 12th. Here's what I don't want you to ever say to them. I don't want you to ever give them a specific answer. Okay? Because at that point, what are you doing? You're giving
Legal advice.
actual legal advice. All right, so what do you tell them? It depends.
Google it.
Hopefully my name comes up first. Hopefully my name comes up first. It depends. It depends on your intent. When you bought it, it depends on your intent when you owned it. Depends on your intent when you sell it. Based off of facts and circumstances. So, how long do I need to own a piece of property? It depends on your intent based off of facts and circumstances to prove that it was held for investment. And here's why I say that, because when I talk to the attorneys of the world, I can show you court cases where the client has owned a property for less than 12 months. They did a 1031 exchange and the IRS allowed it because they proved facts and circumstances. I can show you court cases where the client, these aren't our clients, these are just court cases in general. I can show you they owned it less than a year. They did a 1031 exchange and the IRS disallowed it because they could not prove facts and circumstances. I can show you a court case where the owner owned it for 12 years. 12 years. Sold it at a profit. Right? Sold it for a profit. The IRS looked at it and the IRS disallowed it. Because that taxpayer could not prove facts and circumstances that they held it for investment intent. Right? Time is only one factor. It all boils down to facts and circumstances. Now, here's the kicker. Is that our responsibility to prove facts and circumstances? No, don't get in the weeds. It's up to your client and it's up to their tax advisor. Okay, it's not our job. It's not my job. It's not your job. But you might have this conversation. Hey, I only own this property for 6 months. Can I 1031 it? I saw your brochure. Can I 1031 this? That's a great question. It depends. What does it depend on?
Facts and circumstances.
Facts and circumstances improved for investment intent. All right? Cool. All right. We're running, I'm a few minutes behind. Are we good on time? What time do we? Give me 5, 7 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. All right, go back to our original equation. Our original definition of what is. It's an IRS approved program. Okay, here's the other, what's that little thing doing? Here's the other neat thing that I like to do. It's also an IRS approved process. Okay, who loves checklists? 1031 exchange is a checklist. I've got a checklist I can give you, right? 1031 exchange is a process. We did an exchange last fall for a client who sold a $39,000 rental property. They did a 1031 exchange. They exchanged from 1 into 2. The same month, we did an exchange for a $41 million client in California. Guess what? They both follow the same process. That's the easy thing about 1031. It doesn't matter the sales price. It doesn't matter who they are. It's the same for everybody. And there's a checklist, right? All right. In your package, inside right, this is part of the process, right? We decide that we're gonna sell a property into a 1031 exchange. The first thing we need to do, this is a non-negotiable, when we qualify and make sure it's an investment. The non-negotiable is you have to set up a 1031 exchange agreement with a qualified intermediary. Guess who that is? Before you close. Don't close today and call me tomorrow. Can't help you. You can call me today and close tomorrow. That's okay. We can do that, but don't close today and call me tomorrow. Before you close, you have to set up a 1031 exchange. Non-negotiable.
How long? You said a day, because I thought it was 30 days prior to closing.
I can do the day before. You call me at 4 o'clock today with a 9 o'clock closing tomorrow, as long as I have a contract and title, I can be ready tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Yeah, right. We have teams on the East Coast, we have teams on the West Coast. We're a national company. So I can send everything to the West Coast, get it ready, send it to the East Coast, which is an hour ahead, and everything will be ready by 9 o'clock tomorrow.
But don't they have like a post 1031 exchange, like after you already purchased the property?
But you still have to set it up before. Have to really have support.
That's part of the process. Are you talking about the replacement property, the second property?
No, like a reverse.
Well, that's different. That's another variation, which I'll try to touch on. Yeah, there's another variation called a reverse. Yeah. That's in my 3-hour CE class. But we'll talk about that. All right, here's the process. Once we set up the exchange, we sell, right, we close on our relinquished property. We, through the title company, receive the net proceeds. Remember our napkin equation? We receive the net proceeds. We're holding the money. Okay? The next step is you have to go out and do what? Find a replacement property. You find the replacement property, you call us, you set up the closing. We transfer the net proceeds that we hold to the title company for the replacement property sale. And the exchange is carried forward back to the client and the exchange is done. That's the simple version of what we call a delayed exchange. Inside rights. Okay, now those of us that have done one, what are the two important numbers in a 1031 exchange?
45 and 180.
45 and 180, thank you. Once your exchange starts, the clock starts ticking. This is what your hair falls out, by the way. Once you close, let's say we close today, tomorrow is day 1 of our exchange. Okay, clock starts ticking. You have 45 calendar days to identify a new property or properties. You also have from today 180 days to close on the properties you identified. Okay, everybody see that? 45 days to identify, 180 days to close. Now, let me tell you a little secret. Let's say we go under contract today and we're not supposed to close until the 30th of March. Can we go write contracts on replacement property today? Even though we haven't closed yet on the relinquished property? Even though we haven't set up our exchange agreement? Can we write contracts today on that replacement property? You can even start due diligence. Because what's typical due diligence on, let's just say, a residential home? Would you rather start due diligence on day 1 of your exchange? That may take 30 days or 40 days? Or would you rather start it today and make it contingent on the sale or the funding of the sale and then have that extra time to do that. You can go write contracts today on a replacement property that hasn't closed on an exchange that hasn't started yet. Just build in your contingencies in the event that it doesn't close. Okay?
What if you have an identified property, the contract falls through, you pick another property after the 45 days, but you're still closed before the 108?
All right, let's talk about that. Logistically, if you're within your 45-day identification period, and a property that you identify falls out of contract, you can replace it with another property. If you identify a property and it ends up being on day 47, that it falls out of contract, you cannot replace it. You have to close on the properties that you've identified within the first 45 days.
So they would get their money back that they put in escrow, right?
It'd be a failed exchange and they just get their money back and they have to pay tax. Yep. Clock ticking. First 45 is critical. I would say most of the exchanges that failed in the first 45 days. But if you have a little bit of lead time, you know, you're gonna close at the end of the month, you can still build out your napkin equation and know what your net equity looks like and move that forward. All right? How do we identify? Well, there's three different ways. There's three different ways to identify. The most common, we're going left to right. The most common is up to 3 properties, any fair market value. That's the most common. So if I sell one, I can identify up to 3 of any fair market value. What if I want to identify 5? Can I identify 5? Well, I can't. That moves us into the second column. You have an unlimited number of properties, but you're capped at a value. The value is capped at 200% of the value that you sold. So if we sold for $500,000 and we identify 5 properties, what's the maximum value of the 5 properties? 200% of $500,000, which is $1 million. Okay? If we want to identify more than 3. What if we want to identify more than 3 properties and we sold for $500,000 and the 5 properties that we identify, the value is $1.6 million? Can we do that?
You can, Jeff.
Yes, no,
No.
no. You fall into the last one, which is 95%. So just remember from left to right, the most common is 3 properties. You're capped at the number, unlimited cap on the value. If you want to identify more than 3, your unlimited number, you're capped on the value. And the last one is unlimited number, and there's a cap on what you have to close on. I've been doing this over 20 years. I've only seen 2 exchanges that fall under the 95%. I wouldn't go there. Try to get it figured out with the first 2. You can't do it with 3, try to do it with 5 or 6, but try to cap it at 200%. It's really stressful. All right, what not to do in exchange? I'm not gonna go into that because we got to run out of time. I want to get into marketing. I really got to get into marketing. Let's see. This is an example of consolidation, 3 properties, real quick. If you have more than 1 property, you want to do the same exchange. The day your first property closes is the day that your exchange starts. So you have to sell the other 2, roll everything through us, find 1 property, same 45 days, same 180 day exchange period. This is a consolidation concept. This is a diversification, right? You sell 1, you buy 3. What's up with the arrows? Arrows are over. All right, I know Ricky talked about a reverse exchange. This is real quick. A reverse exchange is another variation. It allows an owner to purchase the replacement property first. Way more complicated, way more in depth. We are seeing an uptick in reverses because let's say you go find them the property that they want to exchange into, but their current property is not ready yet. You can do a reverse exchange. You want to have a conversation about that? Let me know. I can send you the information. There's also an improvement exchange, again, pretty in-depth. All right, pitfalls. Real quick, closing the sale or relinquished property without setting up the 1031. Non-negotiable, absolute non-negotiable. Not understanding the requirements for full tax deferral, what are they? What are the requirements for full tax deferral? Reinvest. Net. Equity.
And,
Acquire property of equal or greater debt, awesome. Selling property not held for, not held for investment. What else? This is our non-negotiable. Not discussing your 1031 with your CPA, tax and legal advisor, right? We've had clients come back to us and say, you know what? My CPA said, you know what, this transaction, 1031 doesn't make sense for me. Great, okay, they're gonna pay the tax, they got other stuff they're working on, it's a bigger picture. Right, we've had a lot of clients do it. They say, you know what, doesn't work. If you're involved in a situation or a transaction where LLCs, partnerships, again, it's all about qualifying and understanding the process. And then 6 strategies for commissions. I'm gonna spend the last 5 minutes doing this. What has to happen in a 1031 exchange? They have to do what? They have to sell, but they have to buy, right? So 2 transactions. How cool is that? Right, same client. Sometimes we get into 2 or more relinquished or 2 or more replacement property. That's even cooler. Right, that's even cooler. I think this one, number 3, is the coolest thing ever. Right? Let's say your client, you're out driving, they say, you know what? What's the address here?
714 State Highway 248.
Your client says, I want to buy this building. You do we do what real estate professionals do. We find the owner, call the owner. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Owner, I'm not sure if it's the right time for you or not, but I've got a client that's been kind of eyeing your building. If the building ever comes for sale, would you be interested in selling it?
Bring me a contract today.
Contract today. Here's what's even better. Mr. and Mrs. Client, seller, would you be interested in selling your building? And I don't know if you know this or not, but there's this concept out there called a 1031 exchange. If I can show you something that you could exchange your building out of into something else, would that be something you'd be interested in? I want you to get better at having a conversation. There are still people today that have no idea this exists. No idea. So if you can go to a property that maybe a client, that fits for a client, you can have that conversation. You sell your client's property. They exchange into this property. And if you can source the owner and give them the information and be a resource, you're helping them sell this property and they're 1031 exchanging it into another property. How cool is that?
And you just keep going.
Just keep rolling. Just keep calling me. We'll just keep doing, right? That's what's cool. Larger properties equal larger commissions, become an exchange agent. Right? You are the go-to. I have brokers that their clients call them first because they know how to work this concept. Then the last one, proactive tool for finding new clients. All right. I don't know if I have a I do have a website. It's on the back of our card. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna tell a couple quick stories. I personally do this. Okay? If anybody here do mailers? Like a mailing campaign?
I do mailers a lot.
Do you target absentee owners?
Yes.
Okay, I do this because I'm generating 1031s, right? I want to be the 1031 person. I mail this. I mail this with my card on the back. If you mail this at the bottom, there's slots, you can put your card on the back. Right? I also have, because I want to show you that I'm not making this up, if I have it. I don't have it. We also have on our website, 1-page templates, apiexchange.com. You go to the upper right, type library. Remember the 5 reasons to exchange? That's a template. I will actually put that template in this handout. And at the bottom of our templates, you can actually customize it and put your contact information at the bottom. Compliments of. Print it off, save it as a PDF, put this in a mailer and mail it out. like I do this, like I do every Monday, I spend 2 hours sending out mailers. I do absentee owners, I also go in, I have access to the MLS. I go in and I look at, I send in these 2 owners. Here's another scenario, another case study. I have a good friend of mine who's a broker in central Kansas. This brochure generated a $3 million sale. This broker puts one of these in every listing packet that they go on, his office, his team. Whether it's their primary residence or not. This was in a packet. They sold this customer's house and had a conversation about 1031s. They owned a $3 million farm. And they sold it and exchanged it for income producing property. So if you put something like this as maybe like a secondary or an, you know, like a alternative or other services or other kind of thing. I mean, the statistic is pretty high. How many people do we know that are wealthy because of real estate or own other properties other than their primary residence? So I have extras of these. Now that I know where you live, your address, I can mail you more. Just send me an email.
Do nonprofit places like selling a church and buying a bigger church, do they count for 1031s?
Nonprofits don't qualify because they're tax exempt.
Okay.
But that's a great question. Tax exempt is a tax exempt.
All right, so they.
Yeah. So if anybody needs help, again, going back to the beginning, you know, more time, going back to the beginning. I'm here to help you source more deals, but I'm also here to be your resource and work with you on the 1031 exchange, because I'll be honest with you. I don't know who your preferred partner is for your title. Who's your preferred partner for title?
Great American.
Great American, do they do 1031 exchanges? They do. They do. Do they do this? No. Right? It's paperwork, right? I want to be your resource. So anything I can do during your business, things like this, marketing, websites, creativity, presentations. I also do similar to this, I do to like investor groups, things like that. So, yes.
I just have a real quick question. I did, the first tax exchange I did was like in the early 90s.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, my clients were told they had to exchange all the money. If they touched a dime of the money, they would pay taxes on all of it. So was that not correct advice or did it change?
Facts and circumstances.
Yeah, facts and circumstances. I'm gonna answer it in a. So. It depends. It depended on that specific client's tax circumstance. Now, I can tell you that if you, let's say you sell a property for $1 million. And you want to take out $100,000 in debt and you exchange 900,000. From what I've seen, you only pay taxes on the 100,000. That's what I've seen. Now, is that 100% true? I don't know, because again, that's gonna be more specific to the client and their circumstance on a bigger, on the tax side, whether they're corporate or LLC, whatever. But typically on the boot, we call it boot. If you receive boot, you receive the money, you're paying taxes on whatever you receive. That's called constructive receipt. And you pay taxes on the boot. Okay. So it's kind of getting into the weeds on the tax side. But I would run that by a tax advisor, because again, it's kind of specific. But in general, you're only paying taxes, more than likely paying taxes on what you receive.
Oh, okay. And where is that on your, website, the template?
The templates,
Library.
Library?
APIexchange.com, the upper right hand, there should be a drop down that says library. If not,
There is, I just don't, there's just,
the phone version is a little quirky.
okay.
We have to go on your laptop, or it's something we're working on. There's also a search bar at the top. So for example, I also do this. I still send out, I don't know everything, right? I don't want to know everything. If somebody calls me and says, hey, what are the requirements for full tax deferral? And they're a prospect, not a client. That's a great question. Can I send you some information on it? Sure, no problem. I'll go in and I'll hit the search bar, requirements for full tax deferral, boom. Click on it, customize it, send it out. Be the resource, yes.
I have another question, and
Okay.
hopefully I don't think you want to. So when you want to look at cost of sale
Huh?
and to chisel down
Yep.
their net,
Okay,
so commissions.
Yep.
Part of cost of sale.
Yep.
What else would like home improvements prior to the sale?
do we have,
Yeah.
do we have access to the internet? Can you pull up a website, please? APIexchange.com, please.
I'm not the best admin, but I'll try.
So to answer your question, yes, there are things that qualify as exchange expenses.
Apex.
API exchange.com.
It's just things that make the net look
Search
smaller,
bar,
but that gives them more money than for their
closing costs.
purchase, correct?
Yes. There are certain exchange expenses that qualify for closing costs, certain exchange expenses that don't. Here's a neat thing, we have a banner.
Okay.
Click on the closing costs tab. There they are. Scroll down just a little bit, please. Real estate commissions, title premiums, closing escrow fees, legal fees, transfer taxes, recording fees. Here's the term, customary to the transaction. Fees customary to the transaction, things that don't qualify, mortgage points, credit reports, title insurance, lender's title insurance, loan fees, property taxes, utility charges, hazard insurance, credits for lease deposits, prepaid rent. There's your list. Okay. I went over on time. Does anybody else have specific questions? Are we over on time?
You interested in a 1031 exchange in Branson where you're down here?
I can do them nationwide.
No, I mean, you buying a house down here.
You are in a room full of
I
realtors.
do have a favorite fishing spot. We go to Lily's Landing every year and fish Taneycoma.
Yeah,
So
there's an asset for sale on Taney.
I see him. I see him. Yes.
What was that Delaware trust?
All right, Delaware Statutory Trust, real quick. It qualifies for 1031. It qualifies by definition. It is fractional ownership interest in a larger portfolio grade, institutional grade property or properties.
Okay.
Okay, think of it like a portfolio of Walgreens
At national level?
at a national level.
Okay.
There are like what they call sponsors, right? And they're what they call. We have a template on it. Here's the challenge. Here's the challenge for real estate professionals. They're sold as securities. Okay, so unless you have your securities license, they do pay, they call them loads. They do pay loads, which are in essence fees for people that bring the DST client. But unless you're a securities license, you won't receive a fee for them exchanging into that product. Okay, but here's what I want to do. I want to spin that real quick. Let's say you're selling $1 million property and they own it free and clear. Let's say you're only able to find $800,000 in replacement property. $200,000 is left. And you have a client that is adamant about not paying capital gain tax. That $200,000 can be placed in a DST. So it's a plan B, right? Again, it's on our website. There's some more information about it. But it's another concept that people are really getting into, because a lot of times they'll also tell you, well, I don't want to manage anymore, but I don't want to pay taxes. But I want to get my rent checks every month, mailbox money, like, okay. So again, having the conversation. I'm way over on time.
We don't mind.
So again, thank you very much. Thank you to Don Michael. Thank you, Ricky, for having me. Again, I'm here for you. I can leave a few of these behind. But again, use these If you run out, call me, I'll send you some more. Give me a reason to come back. But I'll come back.
CE class.
So I have a CE class, I teach in St. Louis. I'm working with a friend of mine who has a real estate school. If I do get down this way to teach CE class, I'll definitely let you know.
Your room morning.
If you buy a house down here, you have a reason to go.
Because they do CE
So I-
classes, so.
So I can do what they call, so the St. Louis board can loan my class to this board. I just need a, contact. that board.
And what's the fee? for that? Couple hundred? Okay,
For me.
Yeah.
For you, I don't know, whatever the
No.
board charges.
they would do it for free for us, so.
Okay, we'll get it figured out.
All right, thanks.
All right, anything else?
You guys did anything?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Don Michael, thank you. Again, it's all about collaboration.
That was good. Thank you.
Good class.
How would they buy it?
Oil?
Oil land.
Royalty contract. Qualified.
That's why. I know.
Tell you what, I got a whole slew of them.
Thank you. It was very good.
Hi, bud. My
By the way, I'm headed to Taney right now.
Are ya? Dude, I'm jealous. I'm like so jealous. No, I didn't. I'm so jealous. I'm like, ah. No, I didn't know that. Are they selling? I love it.
I mean, he may be retiring, I don't know.
He's kind of getting there.
I know I was looking for some commercial property for a client and I saw it on there.
Really?
So if I find it, I'll send you a link. I don't know.
Send me the link because like I said, we love it. Love it. We've been coming down for 30 years.
I'll get a view in.
You know?
But that was
Yes.
the reputation, my friend in Kansas, he like, that's the best, like, this, I sent him 150, he puts them in every listing for, because that one brochure, you want $3 million farm, it was just like, what is it? 1031, that's fine, that's called, these guys really, so we did the exchange, and he got interested.
So Delaware Trust Company was actually been a couple times to the city of planner. And I have my SREs. And it's a big.
Yeah.
Them.
And Carrie goes out of town.
Yeah.
And